She waited for love online, dreaming of a connection that felt real. But when they finally met, he rejected her, not because of who she was, but because she looked too beautiful, too rich. In a city full of secrets, storms, and betrayals, could love survive when the world judged her before he even knew her heart? Before you continue, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this powerful story. In the busy city of Durban, Olivia Brooks preferred quiet nights. She was beautiful, wealthy, and from a respected family, but she hid all that online. She used a simple profile photo, just her hand holding a book. No face, no glamour, no clues. One night, on a reading app, she commented on a post about African love stories. A stranger named Ethan Miller, a mechanic from Port Elizabeth, replied to her comment with a calm, thoughtful message. His words felt different, gentle, honest, and surprisingly deep. It shocked her. She felt a connection. For the first time in months, someone wasn't chasing her beauty or her money. He didn't even know she was beautiful. They talked for hours about life, childhood memories, and simple dreams. The conversation felt warm and safe, like two souls who had been waiting for each other without knowing it. If she showed her real face, everything could fall apart. Olivia liked him, genuinely, but she carried a fear. Men only loved the version of her they could show off. They loved her family name more than her heart. If Ethan discovered she was rich and stunning, would he still speak to her with that same gentle respect? Meanwhile, Ethan had scars too. Years ago, a wealthy girl embarrassed him publicly, calling him a charity case. That moment shaped his fears. He promised himself never to fall for anyone above his level again. Two hearts, two secrets, one fragile beginning. After 2 weeks of talking, Olivia felt guilty hiding her identity. She wanted honesty, to build a real connection. So she finally sent him a real picture. Her face, standing by her shiny white Jeep, dressed in simple jeans, hair flowing naturally. She waited for his reply. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Her heart started shaking. He was online. He saw the message, but he wasn't typing. He didn't fall deeper in love. He pulled away. After almost 30 minutes, Ethan finally replied, "Olivia, is this really you?" "Yes, that's me." Another long pause. Then the message she never expected, "I don't think we should continue talking." Her breath caught. "Why?" she asked. Then his truth landed like a heavy stone. "You look too beautiful, too rich. A woman like you doesn't choose a man like me." Olivia had been rejected before, but never for being too much. Ethan wasn't angry. He wasn't rude. He was afraid. Afraid she was out of his league, afraid of being judged again, afraid of being hurt. She tried to tell him she was still the same simple girl he laughed with every night. But Ethan sent only one last message. "You deserve someone on your level. I can't be that man." And he logged out. Olivia stared at her phone as tears filled her eyes. She didn't want his money. She didn't want luxury. She only wanted the man who made her heart feel seen. Ethan turned off his phone and sat quietly in his small room behind the workshop. He liked her too much, too deeply, and that scared him more than poverty ever could. Two people in two different South African cities suddenly felt the same pain. The pain of a love that started pure, but cracked at the first sight of truth. Olivia didn't sleep that night. She kept staring at the same message from Ethan. "I think you're too beautiful and too rich for me." It felt unreal. Most men chased her because of her beauty, but Ethan ran away because of it. If she lets him go now, their story ends forever. Olivia's heart battled her pride. Part of her wanted to delete his number and move on, but a deeper part whispered, "You felt something real. Don't lose it." Meanwhile, in Port Elizabeth, Ethan lay awake on his small bed, staring at the ceiling. His mind replayed every moment they talked, her kindness, her laughter, the way she listened to him like he mattered. That made it worse. He whispered to himself, "She's too good for me. I can't give her the life she deserves." He believed he was protecting her, but the truth was simple. He was running from his own fear. The next morning, Olivia sent him a voice note. Her voice was calm but hurting. "Ethan, I'm still the same girl who talked to you about books and dreams. Why does my face change everything?" He listened to it 3 times, but he didn't reply. Instead, he threw his phone onto the bed and wiped his face with both hands. He wasn't angry. He was overwhelmed. Her beauty wasn't the problem. His past was. Ethan's co-worker Daniel noticed his silence and pulled him aside. "What happened now?" Daniel asked. Ethan tried to brush it off, but Daniel pushed. Finally, Ethan confessed. "She's rich, Dan. Beautiful. My life is a mess. She'll regret ever talking to me." Daniel sighed deeply and shook his head. "You're letting your past control your future again." Ethan froze. Daniel rarely brought up that past. The rich girl who once dated him just to make a social media joke. The girl who called him charity. The girl who made him fear women who looked like Olivia. Trauma can make good people reject good things. Ethan wasn't rejecting Olivia. He was rejecting the pain he thought would come later. He was protecting himself from a wound that wasn't even there. But Olivia didn't know this. She only knew that the man who spoke gently to her every night was now treating her like a stranger. That evening, Olivia made a decision. She sent him one last message. "Ethan, I don't want your money. I just love your kindness. Please don't disappear." Ethan's heart tightened as he read it. He typed a reply, then deleted it. Typed again, deleted again. He finally sent only, "I'm sorry." 2 words. No explanation. No comfort. Just a wall of fear. Olivia dropped her phone and covered her face. It wasn't just rejection. It was the loss of a connection she felt in her bones. In Port Elizabeth, Ethan sat outside the workshop, staring at the sunset, looking like a man who had lost something precious, but didn't feel worthy enough to fight for it. Their hearts were tied, but their fears were stronger, for now. And fate was quietly preparing the moment that would force the truth out, whether they were ready or not. Olivia woke up the next morning, determined to understand. Why would a man who spoke to her with such warmth suddenly run from her? She replayed every voice note, every late-night laugh, every moment they connected. None of it felt fake. So something else had to be holding him back. Something deeper than her beauty, something heavier than her wealth. If Olivia doesn't discover the truth, the story ends here. Ethan's silence hurt, but it also made her curious. She wanted the truth, not excuses. If she understood him, maybe she could save what was left of their fragile connection. Meanwhile, in Port Elizabeth, Ethan was falling apart quietly. He worked all day, but his mind stayed stark on Olivia. He replayed her voice note in his head. "I just love your kindness. Why are you running from me?" That afternoon, Daniel, the only person Ethan trusted, noticed the struggle in his friend's eyes. "You're shutting her out again." aren't you?" Ethan didn't answer. Daniel took Ethan's phone gently from his hand and sighed. "You like this girl, Ethan. Why punish yourself?" Ethan finally snapped. "She's rich, Dan. Beautiful. Her world will never match mine." Daniel stared at him for a long moment, then whispered, "It's not about her. It's about what that other girl did to you." Ethan froze. Daniel tells Olivia what Ethan was too afraid to say. Daniel stepped outside, away from the noise of the workshop. Without telling Ethan, he searched for Olivia's number in the call log and sent her a message. "Olivia, Ethan isn't rejecting you. He is scared because of something that happened years ago." Olivia's heart jumped. "What happened?" she typed quickly. After a long pause, Daniel replied, "A rich girl once pretended to love him. She made a video laughing at him. She called him a charity project. He never healed from it. When he saw how beautiful you are, he thought it would happen again." Olivia covered her mouth in shock. All the confusion suddenly made sense. Ethan didn't hate her. He feared she would hurt him. Sometimes broken hearts reject love before love rejects them. Daniel continued, "He's a good man, but he believes he isn't enough. Not for someone like you." Olivia felt an ache she couldn't describe. Ethan wasn't avoiding her out of pride. He was protecting himself from a wound no one could see. She typed slowly, "Thank you, Daniel. I'll handle it from here." Later that night, Olivia sat on her bed in deep thought. Her pulse was racing, but not from pain anymore, from understanding. For the first time, she felt closer to Ethan than ever, not because he was strong, but because he was afraid. She whispered to herself, "I'm not letting fear destroy something this real." Her decision was clear, firm, unshakable. She was going to fight for him. Ethan sat outside the workshop on an old chair, unaware of the message Daniel had sent. He stared at the night sky, thinking he had done the right thing by letting her go. But far away in Durban, Olivia felt something he didn't. Hope. Real, burning hope. She finally knew the truth behind his rejection, and she was ready to change everything. The days following the heated confrontation drifted by like slow-moving clouds, heavy, swollen with unspoken things. Maya still went to work, still cooked dinner, still laughed when her co-workers teased her, but inside, something remained unsettled. A quiet ache, like a heartbeat she couldn't ignore. Alex tried. He checked on her, brought her coffee every morning, left little notes on the fridge. "You're amazing. I love you." But the memory of his hesitation lingered like a shadow that refused to leave the room. One Saturday afternoon, as sunlight curved gently across their living room, Maya decided to clean the house to distract herself. She moved furniture, dusted shelves, hummed softly to fill the silence. When she opened the drawer of Alex's old study desk, she expected to find the usual: wires, old notebooks, maybe a forgotten charger. She did not expect the letter. It was folded neatly in an envelope. Her name wasn't on it. In fact, nobody's name was. The handwriting was unmistakably Alex's. Maya hesitated. Her heart thumped once, loud. She shouldn't read it. She knew she shouldn't. But curiosity, mixed with fear, tugged at her like an invisible hand. Her fingers trembled as she unfolded it. The first line felt like a blow to the chest. "I don't know if I'm ready to be a father again." Maya's breath trapped in her throat. "Again?" She read further. "Losing the baby last time broke me in ways Maya never saw. I don't want my fear to hurt her. I want to be strong for her. But what if I fail again?" Her vision blurred. She sank into the chair. The letter, shaking in her hands. She remembered the miscarriage, the quiet pain, the silent nights, but she had never truly understood how deeply it wounded him, because he had never spoken about it. Not once. Every sentence felt like peeling back a part of him she never knew existed. His fear wasn't about her, it wasn't about the baby. It was about his own shattered past, one he had locked away to protect her. A tear rolled down her cheek. Just then, the front door opened. Alex stepped inside, carrying groceries, humming lightly, until he saw her sitting frozen, the letter clutched in her hands. The color drained from his face. "Maya," he whispered, almost limp with shock. "You weren't supposed to find that." She looked up, eyes red, voice breaking. "Why didn't you tell me you were hurting like this? Why did you hide this from me?" Alex set the bags aside and moved toward her slowly, as though approaching fragile glass. "I wrote that letter months ago," he said softly. "When you first told me you wanted to try again. I was drowning in fear, but I didn't give it to you because I didn't want my pain to become your burden." Maya stared at him, hurt and tenderness mixed in her chest. "You don't have to protect me from your feelings. I'm not someone you need to shield. We're supposed to face things together." Alex knelt beside her, took her trembling hands. "I know. I'm sorry. I didn't want you to think I didn't love you, or that I didn't want this child." She touched his cheek, her voice cracking. "I never doubted your love, Alex. I just needed to understand what was behind your fear." He leaned into her touch, eyes wet, vulnerable in a way she had never seen before. "I'm trying, Maya," he whispered. "I'm trying so hard." She pulled him into a tight embrace, both of them shaking, two hearts trying to heal where old wounds bled into new hopes. For the first time in weeks, the air felt honest. No walls, no secrets, just raw truth, shared between two people who loved each other more deeply than they sometimes knew how to express. And as the sunlight dimmed behind them, Maya realized something. They weren't breaking. They were rebuilding. Slowly, carefully, together. After days of reflection, Olivia decided it was time to face Ethan. She didn't know if he would welcome her. She didn't know if he would run again. But she knew one thing: love shouldn't be left to fear. She booked a bus to Port Elizabeth, her heart beating in anticipation. Every kilometer felt longer than the last. The city streets blurred outside the window, neon signs and small shops passing by. But her focus remained on the man who had rejected her, because he thought she was too beautiful to choose him. If she fails, she could lose him forever. Ethan was unaware she was coming. He had returned to his small workshop, trying to focus on cars. But nothing worked. Every sound reminded him of her. The tone of her voice, the way she laughed at his jokes, the kindness in her messages. He feared seeing her in person might shatter him completely, or worse, make him want her so badly he couldn't run anymore. Entering the turning point, Olivia arrived at the workshop early afternoon. She stood outside, heart pounding, watching him through the large glass window. There he was, hands stained with grease, focused on an old engine, completely unaware of her presence. She swallowed her fear. This was the moment she had been preparing for. She stepped inside. The faint scent of oil and machinery filled her senses. Ethan looked up and froze. "Olivia," he whispered, voice trembling. "Yes," she said softly. "Because you're worth it." Ethan shook his head, stepping back instinctively. "I'm nothing compared to you," he said, voice low. The woman in front of him was not the same as the one online. Olivia smiled gently, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. I don't need you to be perfect. I just need you to be real. You are real, Ethan. That's enough for me. For the first time, Ethan's walls began to crack. Fear still lingered. He remembered his past, the humiliation, the doubts, but her words pierced through. Her patience, her honesty, her unwavering courage. He wanted to believe it, but his heart didn't know how. Love isn't about equality in wealth or beauty. It's about equality in heart. Olivia's words were simple, but they carried truth. She didn't care about money or social status. She cared about the man who had opened his heart to her, even if only online. And now she wanted to help him believe in himself. Ethan and Olivia stepped outside the workshop together. They walked slowly along the sandy path beside the Port Elizabeth waterfront. The breeze carried the scent of the ocean. Seagulls called in the distance. You don't have to say anything, Olivia said, glancing at him. I just want to walk with you. He looked at her, hesitant. But slowly, he fell into step beside her. Every step loosened a little more of the fear that had gripped him for years. The world continued around them. People selling snacks, children laughing, cars passing by. But for Ethan and Olivia, nothing else existed. The walk became a silent confession of trust, courage, and the first true step toward love. Ethan's heart realized something he had never admitted. He didn't want to run anymore. And Olivia? She realized that sometimes love requires patience, bravery, and a willingness to meet fear head-on. For the first time, they both believed this love might survive. Olivia's heart was still racing from the walk with Ethan along the Port Elizabeth waterfront. For the first time, she felt hope that he might finally trust in love. But hope can be fragile when families are involved. Back in Durban, Olivia knew she had to tell her parents about Ethan. She braced herself as she entered the grand family living room, the familiar smell of polished wood and fresh flowers filling her senses. Her parents, elegant and proud, looked up from their tea with curious eyes. Mom, Dad, I need to tell you about someone, Olivia began, hands trembling slightly. Their acceptance could make or break this love. Her father's eyes narrowed the moment he heard Ethan's name. A mechanic? He said, disbelief clear in his voice. Yes, Dad. He's honest, kind, and he respects me, Olivia replied calmly. Her mother frowned. Olivia, you come from a family that has worked hard to build this life. How can you let someone like him, someone who has nothing, enter it? Olivia felt a pang of frustration. This was the same battle she had faced before. Beauty, wealth, and social expectations clouding people's judgment of real love. Confrontation and dialogue. I don't care about his money or social status, Olivia said firmly. I care about his heart. He's the only man who listens to me, who treats me like I matter. Isn't that more important than everything else? Her parents exchanged worried glances. Her father's voice softened, but the doubt lingered. You may think that now, Olivia, but love alone isn't enough. You need someone who can match your life, not struggle to survive it. Proof of his character changes the conversation. Olivia took out her phone. I'll show you. This is Ethan helping a local orphanage, repairing their playground and teaching kids about cars. He doesn't do it for fame. He does it because it's the right thing to do. Her parents watched the video in silence. Ethan's humble smile, his patience with the children, the way he treated everyone equally. This wasn't a boy chasing wealth or status. This was a man of integrity. Her mother finally spoke, softer now. I see why you care for him. True love sees the heart, not the wallet. Olivia smiled. She knew acceptance wouldn't be instant, but this was a start. She realized that family approval is important, but love, real love, must also be defended, even if it faces resistance. Later that evening, Olivia called Ethan. I told my parents about you, she said nervously. Did they? Ethan's voice cracked slightly over the line. They're still hesitant, Olivia admitted. But they watched the video. They saw you, and I think they're starting to understand. A long silence followed. Then Ethan whispered, I can't wait to meet them. I want to show them the real me, for you. Olivia felt her heart swell. Even in the face of doubt, even when the world questioned their union, their love was moving forward. In that quiet Durban evening, Olivia realized love is not just about being with someone. It's about standing up for them, protecting them, and showing the world who they really are. And in that moment, she knew she would fight for Ethan, no matter the cost. Port Elizabeth had never seen such heavy rain. Olivia had arrived at Ethan's workshop that morning, hoping to spend a quiet day together. But the skies turned dark, and by noon, thunder rumbled overhead. Ethan looked at the clouds through the large workshop window, tension tightening in his chest. This storm, he muttered. It's going to be bad. Olivia smiled gently. Then we'll face it together. He nodded, but inside, doubt gnawed at him. A storm wasn't just weather, it was symbolic. Could their fragile love survive external pressures and internal fears? If fear wins, they could lose everything. Rain pounded on the corrugated metal roof. The streets outside flooded quickly. Ethan worried for Olivia. He knew she hadn't grown up with hardship, hadn't endured the storms of life like he had. And Olivia, she was afraid too. She had fallen in love with a man carrying scars she couldn't see. Could love be enough when life tested them physically and emotionally at the same time? Rising tension inside the workshop. The workshop became slippery. Ethan tried to continue working on a car engine, but every crash of thunder made his hands shake. Olivia sat on a stool nearby, watching him, her hand reaching instinctively toward his. Ethan, she said softly, we've faced fear before. Remember the first time we met online? You ran because you were scared of losing me. This isn't any different. He looked at her, eyes filled with both pain and longing. I don't want to fail you, he whispered. You won't, she said, placing her hand over his. We'll survive this storm. Together. The storm uncovers a hidden danger. Suddenly, lightning struck a tree near the workshop. The crash startled them both. Rain poured in through a small hole in the roof. A spark from the exposed wires threatened to ignite an oil spill. Ethan reacted instinctively, grabbing a fire extinguisher. Olivia followed him, helping to clear the wet tools from the floor. Heartbeats racing, they worked side by side in complete chaos. For the first time, fear wasn't an abstract feeling. It was real, physical, dangerous. Love is tested when the world pushes back. By the time the storm subsided, Ethan and Olivia were soaked, exhausted, and shaking, but they were alive, together. Ethan realized something important. Fear wasn't something to avoid. It was something to face, as long as they faced it together. Olivia realized the same. Love isn't only about words and promises, it's about action, courage, and trust, even in moments that feel impossible. They sat on the wet floor, leaning against the workshop wall, laughing shakily at how drenched and exhausted they were. "This is crazy," Ethan said, shaking his head. "But we survived it," Olivia replied, smiling through her wet hair. He finally let go of a fear he had carried for years. "You know, I don't think I'm going to run from you again," he whispered. She leaned closer. "And I'll never let you," she said. For the first time, both realized that love, true love, could survive storms, literal and metaphorical. As the rain cleared, a rainbow appeared over the Port Elizabeth harbor. Ethan and Olivia stood side by side, hands clasped, watching it. It wasn't just a symbol of hope. It was a reminder that even after fear, even after storms, love could shine stronger than ever. A week after the storm, Olivia and Ethan were settling into a rhythm. Their love felt stronger, built on trust, courage, and shared experiences. But the past has a way of catching up. Olivia received a call from a number she didn't recognize. Hesitant, she answered, "Hello, is this Olivia Brooks?" "Yes, who is this?" A female voice, calm but deliberate. "My name is Sarah. I knew Ethan a long time ago. I think you need to know something." Her heart skipped. Ethan had never mentioned Sarah. If Olivia doesn't know, she could be blindsided. Olivia hung up and stared at her phone. She felt a knot in her stomach. Who was Sarah? What did she know? Why was she calling now? Meanwhile, Ethan was fixing a car engine in his workshop. The phone rang. Olivia hesitated, but handed it to him. "Who's this?" Ethan asked cautiously. "Sarah," the voice said again. "I think it's time you told her the truth." Ethan froze. Fear flickered in his eyes. Rising tension as secrets surface. Later that evening, Olivia and Ethan sat together in the small workshop office. Ethan's hands were clenched. "Sarah, she's from my past," he admitted. "Before I met you. She loved me, but I didn't love her. I ended things, but some things weren't clean. She still knows parts of my past I never shared with anyone." Olivia's heart raced. She wanted to ask questions, but she also wanted to trust him. "Then tell me everything," she whispered. "The secret could change everything." Ethan took a deep breath and revealed a truth he had buried. Years ago, he had invested a small inheritance into a friend's failing business to help a family in need. The business collapsed, leaving him in debt, and Sarah, his ex, blamed him for her family's losses. "I didn't tell you because I didn't want my past to hurt us," he said quietly. "But now it seems the past is coming back, whether we're ready or not." Olivia reached for his hand. "Then we face it together," she said firmly. "The past may chase us, but love can outrun it." Olivia understood that love was not just about passion or attraction. It was about facing challenges, external and internal, together. Ethan felt a weight lift. For the first time, he realized he didn't have to hide anymore. That night, they wrote a plan together. Olivia would meet Sarah to understand her intentions. Ethan would be honest, open, and ready. They sat under the dim workshop light, shoulders touching, hearts aligned. Their connection was no longer just digital or tentative. It was real, tested by storms, family, and secrets. Olivia leaned on Ethan's shoulder and whispered, "No secret, no fear, no past can break what we have now. Not if we stay honest." Ethan smiled, resting his forehead against hers. Together, they knew that love wasn't just about happiness. It was about courage, trust, and the willingness to face every storm, every shadow, hand in hand. Olivia arrived at the small cafe in Port Elizabeth where Sarah had requested to meet. Her heart raced. Every step toward the door felt like walking into unknown territory. Sarah was already there, sitting by the window, a composed woman in her late 20s, eyes sharp yet curious. When she looked up, Olivia could see the weight of history in her gaze. "You must be Olivia," Sarah said smoothly. "Ethan's told me about you, but I need to know more. One wrong word could destroy the trust they built." Olivia sat down, hands clasped tightly in her lap. She had promised Ethan she would handle this honestly, but she also had to protect their love. Sarah's questions were direct, probing. "How well do you know him? Do you understand his past mistakes?" Olivia answered calmly, her voice steady. "I know Ethan is a good man. He may have made mistakes, but I see his heart and I trust him." Sarah's lips pressed together, eyes narrowing. "Trust, that's easy to say, but hard to prove." Rising tension. The rain began outside, small drops streaking the cafe windows. It mirrored the storm inside Olivia's chest. Every glance from Sarah felt like a test. "I want to make sure he's not repeating old patterns," Sarah admitted, her voice softer now. Olivia's heart pounded. She could feel the tension building with every word. Sarah had her own reason for contacting them. After an hour of conversation, Sarah finally sighed. "You don't understand. I wasn't just angry about the past. I needed to warn him and you." Olivia's brow furrowed. "Warn us? About what?" Sarah leaned in, voice low. "There's someone in his life who might try to take advantage of his past debts. Someone who saw his vulnerability and is planning to manipulate him financially." Olivia's stomach dropped. She realized Ethan's past mistakes weren't just old wounds. They were risks that could hurt them now. Love must face truth to survive danger. Olivia left the cafe with a heavy heart, but a clear purpose. She had to warn Ethan without making him feel weak or scared. Love wasn't just about passion. It was about protection, honesty, and facing threats together. As she walked to the bus, Olivia thought about how far they had come, from online messages and fears of rejection to walks along the waterfront, storms, and secrets. Every moment had led to this. She clutched her phone tightly. Ethan needed to know, and she would tell him in a way that strengthened their bond rather than breaking it. Back in the workshop, Ethan was unaware that Olivia had met Sarah. He was tinkering with an old engine, humming softly, trusting that their love had survived storms, family doubts, and secrets. But Olivia knew the next step would test them again. This time, it wasn't fear or distance or family. It was danger, and it was very real. And their love, now stronger than ever, had to survive it. It was late evening in Port Elizabeth. Ethan was finishing repairs at the workshop when Olivia burst in, drenched from the sudden evening rain. Her face was pale, eyes wide, hands shaking. "Ethan, we have a problem," she said, voice quivering. He frowned. "What happened?" Sarah was right. Someone is trying to take advantage of your past debt. And I think it's someone close to you." Ethan's heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean? Who?" Olivia handed him a folder she had brought from her visit to the bank and some legal documents. "Look for yourself. The person managing your old business loans, it's someone you trusted. If they don't act fast, everything they've built could be destroyed." Ethan flipped through the papers. His stomach dropped. Names, figures, manipulations, all pointing to his former business partner, a man he once considered a brother. This can ruin everything," he whispered, panic rising in his chest. "And I can't let it touch you or us." Olivia stepped closer, grabbing his hand. "We'll face this together. You're not alone." Rising tension and urgency. The next day, they went to the bank to confront the fraud. The office was cold, impersonal, the fluorescent lights harsh. Ethan felt exposed, vulnerable. "I trusted him," he muttered under his breath, as they waited for the manager. "He was like a brother to me, and now—" Olivia squeezed his shoulder. "Now we fight and we stop him. Together." They presented the evidence. The manager reviewed the documents, eyebrows furrowed. It was clear. Manipulation had been intentional. The betrayal cuts deeper than they imagined. Just as they prepared to leave, Ethan's phone buzzed. A message flashed. "If you try to reclaim anything, you'll regret it. Your friend." Ethan's hand shook. Olivia noticed immediately. "This isn't just money," Ethan said quietly. "This is a warning. He knows we're together." Olivia's pulse quickened. She realized the danger was personal now. Their love, their safety, and their future were all at risk. Love grows stronger when tested by betrayal and danger. That night, Ethan and Olivia sat in the small workshop office, papers spread across the table. They were exhausted, but determined. "I don't care about the fear," Olivia said firmly. "We'll face him. We'll face everything." Ethan looked at her, admiration and love shining in his eyes. "Then I won't run from fear anymore. Not from him, not from us." Together, they strategized. They planned meetings, gathered evidence, and made contingency plans. Every detail mattered. Every step could make the difference between survival and ruin. Even in betrayal, they found strength, not just in themselves, but in each other. As the night deepened, the Port Elizabeth city lights glimmered through the workshop windows. Ethan held Olivia close. "I don't care who stands against us," he whispered, "because we have each other." Olivia smiled, feeling the truth in his words. For the first time, fear didn't dominate them. Love, trust, and unity did. The following morning, Ethan and Olivia drove toward a quiet industrial area of Port Elizabeth. Their target? The man who had betrayed Ethan, the so-called friend who had tried to manipulate his past debts. Olivia gripped Ethan's hand, heart pounding. "Are you sure you're ready?" she asked. Ethan nodded, jaw tight. "I can't let him hurt anyone else. Not my family, not you, not us." The warehouse loomed ahead, gray and silent, the kind of place where secrets hide and danger thrives. If they fail, their enemies win. Inside, the former business partner, Daniel, was smug, confident. He didn't know Olivia and Ethan had discovered the truth. "You really think you can stop me?" he sneered when Ethan confronted him. "I know I can," Ethan replied steadily, placing the folder with evidence on the table. "You've lied, cheated, and threatened. It ends now." Olivia stood beside him, unafraid, her eyes blazing. Daniel glanced at her and smirked. "And who are you? Just his girlfriend?" Her reply was cold, unwavering. "I'm the reason you won't get away with this." Rising tension and suspense, Daniel tried to brush them off, but Olivia had anticipated his moves. She presented all evidence: bank statements, emails, and messages. "Every lie, every manipulation, it's all here," she said firmly. Daniel's confident facade faltered. You found all of this?" he stammered. "Yes," Ethan said, stepping closer, "and the authorities are already on their way." The betrayal was deeper than imagined. Just as Daniel reached for a phone to call for help, Olivia's phone buzzed. It was a security alert from their lawyer. Daniel had set up another hidden account, trying to siphon money from Ethan's family. Olivia's quick thinking and Ethan's calm courage exposed Daniel completely. "You're finished," Ethan said, voice steady but filled with righteous anger. Courage and unity overcome betrayal and greed. Olivia and Ethan realized that love was more than passion. It was trust, teamwork, and courage in the face of adversity. By standing together, they not only protected each other, but stopped Daniel from hurting anyone else. As the police arrived to arrest Daniel, Olivia and Ethan stepped outside the warehouse. Rain had begun to fall, but it no longer felt like a threat. It was cleansing, washing away fear and danger. Ethan pulled Olivia close. "We did it," he whispered. She smiled, resting her head on his chest. "We did it. Together." The storm outside mirrored their relief and triumph. Every challenge they had faced, the rejection, family doubts, secrets, and betrayal, had led them here. Holding each other, they knew their love wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. Port Elizabeth was quiet in the early morning. The streets glistened from the overnight rain, and a soft, golden light spilled over the harbor. Olivia and Ethan stood on the waterfront, hand in hand, reflecting on everything they had survived. From the online messages that started it all, to rejection, family doubts, storms, secrets, and betrayal, they had endured it all. Olivia smiled. "I can't believe how far we've come." Ethan looked at her, eyes filled with love. "I can't believe I almost let fear ruin us. The past is behind, but the future is theirs to build." Ethan had resolved his debts, cleared his name, and regained his confidence. Olivia had faced family doubts and confronted dangers to protect their love. Yet the true challenge was ahead, building a life together that was stronger than any threat or fear. They had to make decisions about trust, commitment, and the future. Calm, reflective, but emotionally charged, they walked slowly along the harbor promenade. Children's laughter echoed from the nearby park. The smell of the ocean was fresh and uplifting. "I never thought I'd see the day when I could walk without fear, knowing you were safe with me," Ethan said softly. Olivia leaned into him. "We did it together, and now we can finally dream without fear. A new beginning is more powerful than revenge." As they passed a small cafe, Ethan spotted Sarah across the street. She smiled briefly and nodded. It wasn't a threat anymore, it was closure. No anger, no fear, just acknowledgement that the past had shaped them but would not define them. Love is strongest when tested by life's greatest challenges. They realized love was more than attraction or comfort. It was courage, trust, and facing dangers together. True love had survived storms, betrayal, and fear, and it had grown stronger because of it. Back at the workshop, they cleaned the space together, laughing as they worked. The air was filled with joy. The weight of past fears lifted. Later, Olivia's parents visited, smiling warmly, finally seeing the man who had earned their daughter's heart through integrity, patience, and courage. Ethan knelt in front of Olivia, holding a simple silver ring. "Will you continue this journey with me? Not just today, but for every tomorrow?" Tears filled Olivia's eyes. "Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes." The sun set over the harbor, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. Ethan and Olivia embraced, hearts full, knowing they had survived fear, betrayal, and uncertainty. Their love was no longer fragile, it was unbreakable. And together, they were ready to face whatever life might bring. Hand in hand, hearts united, love triumphant. Dear viewers, what lesson did you take away from this dramatic tale? We'd love to hear from your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the story, Give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and hit the subscriber button. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest updates. Thanks for watching and stay blessed.